What's up, everybody? You are tuned into season 2 of the Elks Call presented by Shotgun Sports. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka To Even Elks.
And today we are joined by Darryl Henderson and Ryan Nerbas of the Fort Saskatchewan Football Flagathon in support of the Stollery Children's Hospital. 24-hour Flagathon. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Every time.
It's going to be one of those. It never fails.
It feels like football weather out there. Darryl, you just got off the turf yourself.
Yep, just got wrapped up week 1 of spring training. It was a little windy out there today.
Yeah,
It was. The boys were at soccer today, and I was sheltering underneath a tree.
In a chair.
In a chair, of course.
Like many other soccer parents out there, and football parents, and baseball parents. Before we dig into this show, we want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether you're watching on our YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network, or on Facebook or X at the Elks Herd, or if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your podcasts. While we're here, if you could please hit the like and subscribe or favorite button, we would greatly appreciate it. For today's lineup, it's another stack show. As always, we're going to open up with the More You Didn't Know with Darryl and Ryan, where we have a discussion about this Flag-a-thon. And we also have a special interview with Jace as well, and the Little Herd. And then we're going to dig into Kathy's Herd Report, talking about the latest Edmonton Elks transactions and news. Following that, we'll give you an Edmonton sports update, and then we'll cap the show with the fan forum, where we discuss hot topics surrounding the Elks, the CFL, and the sports world as a whole. Be sure to blow up the Herd chat so you can get your comments and questions onto the show. Let's kick it off with the More You Didn't Know, brought to you by the Winnipeg Terminal. Catch the flight with Mike and Joe every week, talking all things Jets and Bombers on Shotgun Sports Network. Feels up. So today we're talking with Darryl and Ryan about the football Flag-a-thon. And then we have a fun interview with Jace to show everyone. So once again, everybody, if you have any questions or comments, uh, throw them into the herd chat, and we will do our best to get them on here. Darryl, you've been on the show before as an Elks fan. Ryan, you're here for your first time, so we welcome you both. You guys are here today talking about a different kind of football event from what we normally talk about. What is this Flag-a-thon? I guess we'll start with Darryl.
Well, actually, you know what? If you don't mind, I'm going to throw it to Ryan because he kind of has been heading up the organizing for the last 2 years. So go ahead, Ryan.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, it's our second annual, like you said. So we started last year. We always try and do something to be able to give back to the community, to show these kids what that's about, right? To be able to be the next members of our society and give back to the community they live in. So we decided to do a 24-hour flag football game to raise money for the Stollery. So it was an absolute blast last year. Playing games at 2 a.m. under the lights is a totally different beast. It's pretty cool, but it's 5-a-side. So we follow the CDMFA rules for that. So it's a quarter field. So we can technically have 4 games going at once. So we can accept a lot of teams for this and have a lot of games going on. The game slots are an hour long. So you're not playing too long. And if you want to play multiple games, we had some teams play 7, 8, 10 games last year. So they were a little sore, but like we said, it's absolutely nothing compared to what these kids go through every day of their life that are suffering, right? And the Stollery is there to help them out. So anything we can do to be able to give back to these kids and support that cause is worth it.
No, that's incredible, and definitely thanks a lot, Darryl, for steering the ship on that one. I had a show order there, so really greatly appreciate that. But speaking on that in the Stollery, that's where Darryl more so has a little bit more of a story there, right?
Yeah, I have some experience with at the University of Alberta Hospital, the Stollery. My experience just barely. Actually, it predates the Stollery coming to Edmonton as a organization. So I used the Stollery. I used the university. I was born with a hole in my heart. And there was some, even back then without the Stollery, there were some very, very good doctors. The hospital was top notch even then. They managed to deal with my condition. I had open heart surgery when I was 4.5 years old. And from there, I couldn't tell you exactly when the Stollery opened, but it was shortly after that point. I would go to the Stollery on an annual basis to do my annual checkups. And as I got passed from one doctor to another, the last doctor that took me probably started me up when I was still what you would say a minor. And then he continued on with my file well into my 30s, and I was still going to the Stollery, actually. So I've only just graduated to the Mazankowski not many years ago. So I'm very familiar with the Stollery. I'm very familiar with the staff there, the doctors, the surgeons. And it's a big part of my life, definitely, and it's a welcome thing for myself to help out and give back to the Stollery because it gave so much to me, and I'm looking forward to being able to do that so that there's other people, kind of like Ryan's family, have both used the Stollery. I think a lot of people have, and it's just very well needed, and it's an amazing amenity necessity in Edmonton. It's a blessing that we have it.
Definitely. I 100% agree. The Stollery has amazing staff. It's an amazing organization. And even for little things such as 2-hour nosebleed, which is what my son had, and it just wouldn't stop. They just were absolutely amazing. And I couldn't be more thankful because, as mothers, fathers, even siblings, as anybody that is around any children, we all know that if they're little angels, right? That if they can take care of these kids and provide a very a safe, there you go, that's the word that I want to go for. If they can provide a safe environment for a kid to be in, sometimes months, years at a time, then why not support them as best as we can? So, Ryan, Your son Jace is a very important piece to what you're doing here, of course. What was his impact on this Flag-a-thon, and how special is it to build an event with your son?
Yeah, it's with him we've spent a lot of time there. He's had surgery and some other procedures there, so it definitely means a lot to us. And actually, our daughter just finished a surgery there last week, and they take amazing care of you. So to be able to do something with him, to show him the importance of giving back, and to be able to show what the Stollery did for him to be able to play football. And he's playing tackle football even. Last year he started that, so to be able to do that has been an amazing feat. And yeah, to be able to work with him, to give back, and to put on this event has been a lot of fun. We had a goal of raising $20,000 last year, and we came awfully close. We raised just over 18,000 in total. So this year we're hoping, we're pushing to break through that, and beat that $20,000 mark. So to show them, what a few people and a community can do to put on this event and raise this kind of money is pretty awesome, pretty special.
Oh, it is extremely special, right? It's you don't see these kind of events happen very often, especially for football, right?
Yeah.
You guys have definitely hit a good spot. I mean, Fort Saskatchewan as well, great location for it, and like you said, you guys can have 4 games going on at once. That just allows you to pack it in. So
That sounds so fun.
oh yeah,
You know what? And I knew this was a 24-hour thing, and it didn't really click in until you said 2 a.m.
I'll tell you, those lights do affect you. Trying to catch a ball at 2 a.m. looking into those lights, that's not easy. These professionals make it look pretty darn easy. Even these kids, some of these kids, the way they can catch a ball running down the field, I can't.
So what would you guys say were some of the highlights of last year's Flag-a-thon?
I think just the people coming together. We actually, it was about 11:30 at night. We were playing a game, and all of a sudden, these two, they were teenager, young adults, walked in. They seen the lights on. They said, what's going on here? We kind of told them about it, and they said, hey, how do we play? So they signed the waivers. They jumped in. They played for, I think it was an hour or 2 hours straight, and they had an absolute blast. So just seeing people walk off the street and want to come play, and just all the teams, we had teams from a few different organizations within our league come out and just having a blast together, right? There's no competition. You're just having fun.
Yeah. There would also be another highlight that we like to talk about and promote is it's an open, it's an open registration, just so everybody knows. And I'm sure we'll get to it, but I'll say it right quick. We still have time for teams to register until June 7th. We're looking for teams from anywhere from 5 to 10 players, and it could be any age groups. You could be from the Edmonton Flag Association. You could be within the Capital District Minor Football Association. You could be not associated with anybody. And to that point, we actually had a couple of the mothers from the Falcons family put in 2 separate teams. And it just so happened that the schedule maker ended up pitting them against their kids. And those were some of the more fun and intense games, for sure.
I love it.
No mercy from those moms and those parents.
Not at all. We usually go out on the weekends to just throw the ball around, and that's my motto. Yeah. No mercy. If you want to get around me, you get around me. It has happened. Yeah. I have been tackled by my 6-year-old.
But even to that, like, we had a team from actually one of the Home Depots around our community. They reached out and put a team in too, right? So like literally no affiliation with football at all. Just come have some fun. We had as young as 4 years old and up to 65 years old playing in it last year. So there's no age limit. There's no skill level limit. There's nothing, right? Just come out and have fun. Grab 5 to 10 of your friends and get out here.
Oh, that's so cool.
I love that, because it's obviously for a really good cause. It's an amazing cause. But beyond that, this is a community event, right? Like, look at that, bringing entire communities together, age groups together, different niches, different groups together just to play some football. How cool is that?
No, it's so cool.
Right? And I mean, on that cool note, we do have a pretty special little video that we filmed yesterday that we would love to show everybody here before we continue talking about this. So how about I just play it?
Give her.
Would that be good? Let's see. Just gonna go ahead and show this.
Hello, my name is Kyle. I will be your host for today.
And my name is Aiden.
Hi. This is our guest, Jace.
And what? How are you?
Good.
What do you love the most about football?
That you get to have lots of fun.
What team do you play for?
The Fort Falcons. Excited for the 24-hour Flag-a-thon? Yeah. Can you tell us more about it? That you get to have lots of fun, and there's going to be a slip and slide and face painting and other games. Do you get to go in the arena? Yes.
Is Aaron Grimes your best friend?
Yes.
What do you like about him?
That he's a really nice guy, and he supports me a lot. Think the Elks will make it far this year? Yeah. How about the Oilers?
Oh.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so
Oh.
How cute is that? I mean, if that's
awesome.
people that, to come and support this Flag-a-thon, that there's going to be slip and slides. Seriously.
Yeah, and it's more than just the games. Yeah, we got food trucks coming. We've got slip and slide, face painting, a caricature artist, and then some yard games as well set up. So you don't just got to come play your hour time slot or however many time slots you want. You come hang out and play some other games, or even if you don't want to play, just come hang out, watch some football, cheer them on, and support it in any way you can.
Yes. And I mean, seeing little boys like that,
Yeah.
so invested.
It was awesome. Yeah.
With a lot of editing, but
Just a little minor.
It was good. It was fantastic.
Yes. But so, of course, as I mentioned, this is more of a community event as well, more than just a community event, really. But what has the community support been like since your first event in both Fort Saskatchewan and Edmonton? Have you seen that there's an uptick in registrations? What is it trending towards?
Yeah, we're getting close to meeting this kind of the same number of registrations we had last year, but we are seeing a little bit more support from our league. We got a few more teams looking to come. I believe, was it the team from Fort Mac reached out to you today, Darryl?
I had some conversations with him, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a tight turnaround by the time we figured things out.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a drive, but even for them to even have those conversations, they're quite a ways away, but to have those conversations is great. So we're getting some good support from our league as well. They're really pushing for it. So,
well, and what's cool about this is it could become kind of like the Edson Ball tournament. If you're an Albertan who plays slow pitch, you know about the Edson Ball tournament. It hasn't been around for quite some years now, but it's one of those things where everybody from Western Canada will show up to Edson for this crazy weekend where they have all these diamonds and everything else. So, like, same deal, right? This has the potential to be one of those.
Well, and it's just
that's what we're hoping for, yeah.
Right? This is just a second year, and the whole point of this and the goal is to just grow it and grow it and grow it so that next year they will come to you. You won't even have to have these conversations. They're just going to show up, and more teams everywhere in Alberta are going to show up. So that's the hope for sure.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal is to beat the record for the longest football game. So I believe it's, do you remember, Darryl, 60 some hours, I want to say 58, 60.
I want to even say it might be north of that. It's been a while since I looked it up.
Yeah,
it's a long time.
That's the ultimate goal, is to end up trying to push it that far, right? So take it longer than 24 and keep growing it, get lots of teams, lots of games going at once, and keep pushing it longer and longer. So
no, that's cool. That's awesome. Exactly. Just like the world's longest hockey game, right? You can do the
Yeah.
same football. So.
World's longest football game, exactly.
Well, exactly. That's what we want to see. I mean, we want to see more Canadian football events. You know, hockey has a lot of it. We already know we moved our date tonight to Thursday because of the big hockey event here in town. So with playoffs and them making it close to the Stanley Cup, you got to watch it. I mean, even we had to watch it.
Yeah.
You guys wanted to watch it, so that's the reality, right? And football is technically, it should be our second biggest sport, Canadian football here in Canada. So, I mean, hey, nothing against lacrosse, which I believe isn't that our national?
Yep.
Sport? So,
Yep, that's the national sport.
I forget all the time.
But Canadian football, it's a little bit bigger. But getting back to the Flag-a-thon, it's weeks away. You're almost ready to host the biggest 24-hour event yet. How can people get involved, and what can folks, you guys already mentioned about obviously registration, but like what can folks like us do to help?
So yeah, if people want to go to our website, fortsaskfootball.com, there's a little tab at the top for the 24-hour Flag-a-thon there. So from there you can register a team. You can read about our team letter and our sponsor letter if anybody wants to do any sort of sponsorship for the event. You can read Darryl and Jace's stories that we have up there, kind of why it's important. We're trying to showcase people with Stollery stories throughout these events as well. We've got a link right to the crowdfund page. We donate right to the Stollery as well through our event. And as well, we've got these shirts for sale. We're getting near the end of that. That's coming due this weekend. It closes. So if you want one of these shirts, we got a local place working with us on that. Proceeds from the shirt sales are going back to the Stollery as well. So you can rep our merchandise there and come out and do that. And then just show up to the event out at Taurus Field. We got an amazing facility out there. So it's nice to be able to showcase that through this event as well. Come cheer on the teams, and yeah, any sort of sponsorship, donations, teams, everything like that.
Nice.
Perfect. Yeah, well, we will make sure to post all of the links and all of the information for everybody that is watching or listening later, so that they can go ahead and visit those websites and click on those links to make sure that, if they wish to help, any help is appreciated. So.
Yeah, check the description. The links will be in the description
By tomorrow.
Yeah.
Perfect. And we do have some giveaways as well. So we've been working with the Elks. So the top individual fundraiser will get tickets to, it's a home game. I can't remember the exact date. It's in August, I believe, against BC. So they're going to give tickets to the family of the top individual fundraiser. And then they've got some swag bags as well for the top team fundraiser. Each person from the team will get a bag. It's got a football and some other stuff in it. So.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. And then anybody from our league, whichever association raises the most money, our league is actually donating a pretty amazing piece of tackle equipment. It's worth around $1,000. So anybody from the league, it doesn't matter if you enter one team or 10 teams. We kind of combine all them, see who raises the most money, and they'll be awarded that from our league. So
that's fantastic.
That's so amazing. Yeah. Come on, everybody, just go. Donate.
Right?
So we still have a whole week left to get registrations. We want more teams, more donations.
Yeah, this is the final push. Definitely thrilled you guys are here today to talk about it. Because we're going to be there probably for the second day. We're going to pop by in the morning and do some media detail too.
I don't know. Maybe we should pop up at 2 a.m.
Maybe we should pop. You know what? Right after the game,
we'll be up. Don't worry. The lights
will still be up. Yeah.
The lights will be on.
Coffee will be there and ready.
That might be the fun media work. Okay, you might got me sold here.
Oh no! The Elks better win, of course. But if they win and afterwards we make it over there, that's gonna be fun.
It'll be a fun time.
It's a quick Uber trip from Commonwealth. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. No big deal.
Done. So something that we mention often is the grassroots movement. We've talked about it quite often here, in the Elks Call, and how sometimes it can seem a bit lacking in visibility. we know it's there, but sometimes there's not a lot of well, maybe marketing. I want to call it marketing because the information is there, but
Yep.
it's just the accessibility or how visible that information is. So, Darryl, as a coach and someone that is involved in minor football, what's your opinion on the state of football at the minor levels, and how can we increase that visibility so that other people can know exactly when these events are happening?
Well, I think like you guys have brought that up on a number of occasions, and I think there might be a small, or not small, but there's a legitimate concern. Concern's not the right word, but like definitely there's some visibility. We could definitely the minor football in Edmonton could be a little bit more visible. They could have a little bit more of a presence. Sorry, at the local games, at the Elks games. But while it might be a little bit, under the surface, the minor football in Edmonton is actually very, very, very healthy. I checked in with the association here earlier today, as a matter of fact, just so that I could talk to that a little. And tackle, our 2023 tackle, we actually had 1,878 players in our tackle season, which was well over what we had the year before. And I believe our spring from 2023 was in the low 700s. And this year, our spring flag number, we had 985 flag players this spring. So, like, does the greater Edmonton, are they not aware of it? Possibly. Can CDMFA, can the club members do more to promote? Absolutely. I mean, you could say the same for the Elks. You could say the same for the CFL as a whole. We all kind of are taking a backseat to hockey, unfortunately. But with 23 associations in the CDMFA, it actually makes, if you guys didn't know this, with 23 members, club members, it actually makes the Capital District Minor Football Association the largest minor football association in Canada.
Beautiful.
That's really cool, and it's really good to see that the numbers are going up. And I do agree the visibility is there, but maybe it's just maybe the word would be interest, and I don't want to call it like that.
Well,
but
no, the interest is there. I think,
is there.
and I'll speak up on this because the Elks did have the Minor Football Association actually at at Fan Day.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're actually getting a little bit more involved. And the reason why sometimes that's correlated is because you look at how many kids are showing up at Edmonton Elks games, because, a lot of these football families, they usually want to bring their kids to the games.
Mm-hmm.
Have the Edmonton Elks turned off their fan base that bad to the point where we're seeing a little bit less of that? Is it a grassroots movement thing? And obviously Darryl has the numbers here, so that's
Mm-hmm.
great. And I mean, we're never here to speak against it because we're going to be getting our kids into football. I think one of the coolest things this last year was the Edmonton Seahawks showing up for their bottle drive and dropping off a magnet. And that was the first time we had seen that in this neighborhood. I think they do this quite often. Unfortunately, we've never caught it, right?
Yeah.
But that was one of the biggest pieces for us.
I think it's just that is being able to catch it when you're not necessarily in certain groups.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the thing. I mean, before I was even involved with sports, Edmonton Elks, doing the Elks Herd, doing the Elks Call, I never really went out of my way to look for sporting events. Right? And if I wasn't looking for them, then I had no way of knowing what was happening. I think that's where the disconnect is. And seeing the Seahawks do that, just even walking around doing bottle drives, here's a magnet, that brought a little bit of visibility.
Yeah.
I was actually just at Boston Pizza, and they have their Become a Player for a Day event. So you enter a draw, and you can become an Edmonton Seahawks player for one day if your name gets drawn. Right? And I thought that was pretty cool because those are things that the team is doing to go outside of those sporting groups, that community of sports that, very, I mean, I don't want to say very few, but a select people are involved in. What about if you're not part of that, right? What if you're not part of the sports groups? What about if you don't have friends that are involved in sports? How do you know that these events are happening for your kids?
And the Edmonton Seahawks have indeed actually brought forward a solution. Like they have, I really like that. I like both of those, right? The magnet and having to be a player for a day.
So I mean, it's one of those situations that we don't talk about it negatively. We just talk
Nope.
about it because we just wish that there would be those kind of initiatives.
And mostly because we want more kids in football. We want to have a better, minor visibility in the football community.
I think another comment to it, there's been a lot of work. I wouldn't necessarily know who, so there would be some credit due on the CDMFA side, but I do know that with the changeover on the elk side, there's, you guys would be very aware, there's been a couple of presidents incoming and outgoing in the last half dozen years. And so the relationship hasn't always been strong from the professional club to the, what you would call the grassroots. That it's not a feeder system, but what it is it should be your fan base if it's not a direct feeder system, obviously. So, but in the last couple of years, going to some of the CDMFA meetings, I can speak to a couple of members of their board members. The CDMFA's board members are in constant talks now with the Elks. I would hope and predict that those lines of communication are going to remain open with this with the public ownership group that we have, and I would imagine that we're going to try to continue that. One thing that I know that we have attempted as the minor football association, like the CDMFA, is we're endeavoring where we can to move our scheduled games away from the Elks home games to allow for that fan base, that built-in automatic fan base. We shouldn't be playing games when Elks, like sometimes it's unavoidable. Our scheduler, Ryan Shula, does an amazing job. And he's said many times that there is no such thing as a perfect schedule. And so sometimes, yes, games get scheduled right up against Elks games. There's not much we can do. There's a limited amount of fields, limited amount of officials, and way more teams than you would imagine. So he does the best that he can. But we are doing what it's not a blackout, but it would be like a soft blackout where we try to avoid those games. So we're trying to work more so with the club, and we scratch their back, they scratch ours. So the visibility is going to continue to grow, I think, as well as that relationship between the CDMFA and the Elks.
Oh, totally. You can see that, right? Like I said, Elks are already getting back in there, and it's good to see.
You know what I would love to see? That's just me personally, especially if I'm not necessarily on social media or on the websites 100%. And I always miss registration dates. I am horrible with them, especially because you have to register like 6 months in advance. And sometimes it just slips your mind. But I would love to see registration booths at the Edmonton Elks games.
Yeah.
Like we have this event or this, league that is taking registrations now for flag tackle, in the fall. Register now. Kids are pumped. Kids are there. They're enjoying the football on the field, and they're like, "Hey, mom and dad, sign me up." That'd be cool.
Elks got to hire you or something. I don't know. Brian, do you have any thoughts on this?
No, like Darryl said, we got to get the kids out to these games and get that support back, right? It might not be the direct feeder system, but you get these kids loving the sport. They keep going with it through to high school, through to college. It is your feeder. So you go from your fan base to the feeder, basically. So we just got to get those relationships, I think, pushing a little more and, get more kids out to these games. So I know last year, I don't know if they're still doing it, but last year, weren't they doing the free tickets, I believe? So I don't know if they're still doing that.
One game this year. One game. The Labor Day rematch, actually.
Oh, okay.
So,
I do know there's not to be a plug for the Elks, but I do know, I bought my son his own season seat this year, and I do believe what I heard about that was you can get a season seat for a youth up to 17 years old for $75 this year, which is an absolute. That's $7.50 to get your kid under 18 into the game. Like maybe the Stingers and the baseball team have something that economic. I'm not sure, but that's a pretty darn good deal. So.
I mean, yeah, we could just hold on to Section X 3 and 4, row 6, 3 and 4 for $75 and grandfather it in every year. You know,
there you go.
We'll see, but
yeah, you get these kids out to the games, and obviously their parents got to bring them, and you know they're spending money at your concessions, they're buying your merchandise. You know, you're growing the sport and everything.
Well, and I've recently maybe even a feature that may be coming up on the news, but. Recently talked about this, right? The other Elks missed a generation somehow, some way. That kind of there's a
at
couple,
least one.
Yeah, and I mean 2015, especially in the year where you have a Grey Cup like that, should have been super kid oriented. Those kids hooked on the Edmonton then Eskimos for life, right? So there's so many fine opportunities in the last 10 to 15 years. And unfortunately, it's something that we do talk about. So, and like you said, there's a relationship there with minor football as well. And then you're going back and forth with president. We've made it all the way back to Lollisher. So, it's understandable, but it's also very frustrating. Like you said, there's growth there now. And it's very cool to see the Elks getting back involved with minor football and raising that visibility a little bit more. And like you said, it's only going to benefit them. They're going to get more fans in the stands.
I should also add, just to give them a little bit of a kudos or props or to put a spotlight on that relationship, is that a couple years back when Flag was just sort of taking off a little bit, we were using the NFL program, the NFL Flag program.
Yep.
And we actually moved away from that starting last season, and we are now basically Flag is powered. Don't ask me how that relationship exactly works, but it is powered by the Elks to the point where the kids all wear their jerseys and their shorts have a CDMFA logo and an Elks logo right on there. So I think there's definitely some support there from the Elks with the Flag. We'll see where that takes us with the tackle, but I know that the CDMFA board and the Elks are definitely working together.
Beautiful.
Oh, and I love to hear it. Everybody does too. We have David here, Ginger Argo.
Yeah, Ginger Argo in the herd chat.
Darryl and Ryan, keep up the amazing work. So, all the
Thanks,
way
David.
from Toronto. All the way from Toronto.
And
so.
Ryan Messer in the herd chat up there in response to the interview and everything you guys are doing. That's awesome. So
nice.
Not to like with that. It's so cute. John over here, so cute. We need more of that.
Yeah.
We definitely do. One day we'll convince the boys to do an entire episode. With their attention.
Well, that's another thing the Elks did. That's actually how Jace ended up meeting up with Aaron. The Elks partnered with that MH Care Medical, and they did the Cleats of Strength last year. So they brought an Elks player into the Stollery and had Stollery kids meet up with them, design a pair of cleats for them. Unfortunately, Aaron wasn't able to wear them last year due to injury, but you know what? They actually have become, I guarantee, lifelong friends. They still chat weekly. They're, best friends, like you said. So, they supported each other through their injuries and through their recoveries and stuff. So that was pretty special to see that. And, see these players wearing, a kid's design on their cleats. It was phenomenal.
It is pretty cool. We've had Sinjin in the podcast before, and he's awesome. And I mean, once again, the Stollery is just doing amazing work, and the Edmonton Elks are doing their part in all of that as well. So
it's beautiful, yeah.
But let's have just a quick little, let's bring it to the easy-sided, part of the interview, not so heavy. Who's the better football player, Darryl or Ryan?
Oh, I don't know who the better football player is, but I know who cheers for the better team. That much.
Oh, I love it. Oh, it's so good. All right, we'll wrap it up here right away. Our last question: if people want to register a team, sponsor, donate, get involved, where can they do so once again? And where can we find the event details online? I know we talked about it before, but we gotta talk about it again. What is
for sure? Yeah, fortsaskfootball.com. Hit the 24-hour link, and you've got everything from the Stollery stories to the team letter, the sponsor letter, a link to donate directly to the Stollery through our crowdfund page for the event, a link to register a team, everything like that. So on those team and sponsor letters as well is an email. Darryl, myself, and our other co-organizer, Melanie, it goes directly to all three of us, and we'll get back to you right away. So anything, hit us up and let us know what you need and what you want, and we'll get you hooked up with the event.
Awesome. No, and well, like we said, we're going to be there. Hopefully get some more folks down there. Media folks, definitely get on down there for covering this, because it's going to be big. It's going to be 24 hours plus big. So
Yeah.
that's all the time.
I know we got some challenges out there too, because I know our local fire department, they came and joined in last year. They actually stopped by after a call. They were on a call. They stopped by. They're still in some of their gear trying to play with the kids. They're coming back out this year. So any other fire department, medical service, police, fire police, man, that's a heck of a game. They want it. So let's get it happening.
We're going to be there.
Yeah, the bombs. Oh no, that's like there's so many storylines under there. Like you said, right? Fire versus police.
That's cool. That'll be fun.
I think people would show up just to watch that alone, right?
Right.
So fantastic. Yeah, guys, that's all the time we have for this segment. For the more you didn't know, Darryl, Ryan, we can't thank you so much, and Jace. Can't thank Jace enough either for being on the show today. We'll be seeing you at the Flag-a-thon in a couple weeks, so we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you guys very much.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
cheers, guys.
Of course. Oh, just give me 1 second. I'll kick you up.
One at a time. All right. So that was Darryl Henderson and Ryan Nerbas of the Fort Saskatchewan Minor Football Flagathon. A fantastic 24-hour Flagathon. It's a fantastic 24-hour event, bringing funds and awareness to the Stollery and the great people that have used their services. So yeah, shout out to Jason Whitney for setting up that cute interview as well.
Super cute.
With the little herd. Also a big shout out to you, the viewer who is watching or listening right now. You're tuned into the Elks Call with the Elks Herd on Shotgun Sports Network. If you could hit that like and subscribe while we're here, we would greatly appreciate the support. We're still trying to give away this beautiful Double E signature jersey at 500 subscribers on our YouTube, which is at Shotgun Sports. Okay, next up, Kathy's Herd Report, where Kathy brings you the latest Elks news and transactions. The Herd Report is brought to you by Off the Reins podcast. The Birmingham Stallions are going for the three-peat, and Ryan Messer has you covered for the journey. Find OTR every week on Shotgun Sports Network. Giddy up.
Yeah. So now it's my turn. This is where I talk a lot. So I apologize in advance.
But wait a moment.
Oh.
We have breaking news.
Do we? Oh.
Warren Moon is coming to the home opener June 8th. Warren Moon, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Warren Moon is going to be in the building.
That's so cool.
Commonwealth Stadium at the Fieldhouse. Alumni signing. Michael Riley, but Warren Moon.
Yeah. And according to John here, we're also getting a flyover. So between that and the lineup and all the autographs, like seriously, if there's going to be a day to open that upper bowl.
Come on, open the upper bowl, guys. Do it for
it.
Warren Moon.
Yeah,
do it for
man.
Warren Moon.
Like, he's coming back.
He's coming to Edmonton.
Not only do we absolutely have to win, but we should also have a packed house.
Should.
I mean, it's up to you, viewers. Don't disappoint Warren Moon.
Don't disappoint Warren. I like that.
That's gonna be the hashtag.
You intimidated me for a minute.
Do not disappoint Warren Moon. But all right, let's take a look at the preseason game recap. We played against Saskatchewan Roughriders on Saturday, May 25th. with an unfortunate final score of 28-27. It slipped through their fingers, quite literally.
Again.
We'll talk about that.
Unfortunately.
I mean, there were some promising signs for the Elks here. There were some highlights. There were also some points of discussion, which is what we're here for. So we're going to start it with the first half. Let's bring up the man that everybody wanted to see play, of course. Our QB1, McLeod Bethel Thompson.
Bethel Thompson.
He completed 17 out of 25 passes for 190 yards in his half of the action. So most articles online that I saw say that he did a solid showing. But what did we really think?
I think, looking at it, 190 yards that's beautiful. That's exactly what you want to see. 17 of 25. Now, I think he was shaking off a little bit of rust from CFL action just because of the turnovers. There's 5 turnovers in the game total, right? So he whipped the ball pretty good in and out of Gino's hands. I want to say, wasn't that Gino? Or there was a player that was going down to the turf and trying to grab it.
Yeah, Gino was one of them.
So we saw, we saw a little bit of that. It was a little bit frustrating. A couple underthrows, a couple overthrows. But overall, he looked good. He looked like an elite starter. I don't think he was fantastic. I still think that there's a lot that MBT needs to clean up. I think he will, though.
I mean, he did have more than a few incomplete passes, and he did have that one interception. But I mean, it's hard to say on preseason too.
Preseason, you don't know. Did a guy not run his route?
Exactly.
Was there a communication mishap? You can't really.
It's
gauge,
hard.
Right?
It's hard to say.
I would say that at least one of those was an off-target ball.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, I mean, MBT looked good. The starters in the first half looked good. When you looked at the stat sheet at the end of the game,
yeah, we should have won that one.
Should have won that game, right? It should have won that game. When you look at the stats, it's like, how did you lose that game?
Yeah.
Oh, 5 turnovers.
We know why.
Call him Pillsbury, man. We're making turnovers.
But I mean, hopefully that's what that was. Maybe it was just, like you say, shaking up for us.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe he wasn't in it all the way because it's preseason. Who knows? It's really hard to say. I think we're really going to have a good idea of how he plays and the chemistry that he has with the team. I think within the first couple of games that we see. Yeah. And then we'll have an idea of what that's going to look like. But once again, June 8th is a must win, in my opinion. So we'll take a look. And he's not, we'll talk about this, but I know he's not going to be playing the next game.
No, we'll talk about that in a minute.
The other person to watch for here in that first half was kicker Boris Beatty, number 14, who signed a 2-year deal with the Elks during the offseason after spending the last 4 years with the Toronto Argonauts. And he was successful on both of his field goals during the first quarter. So that was pretty cool to see. I remember even being like, who's that, Boris Beatty? You were like, that's Boris Beatty.
That's Boris Beatty.
Because we weren't exactly sure how that was going to go. We didn't know who was going to be in the kicker position. And, at this point, within the first half, it looked like it was going to be a kick to win game, really.
Yeah.
It was all kicks. But yet again, on that second quarter, Dean Faithful had a field goal attempt of 39 yards, and he missed. It's one of those that you're like, oh, should he have missed that? Should we be worried?
He should be worried because now he's going to be dueling against the likes of Vincent Blanchard, and I mean, that's going to be in this preseason game. Too. Well, Boris Beatty isn't traveling to BC this week. He's not. Right now he's in Edmonton. So that puts a little bit of a twist on things, because if Boris Beatty is not traveling like all the other starters,
is he a starter?
Is he a starter? To me, that looks like he may be. This would be for maybe a practice roster spot at this point between Blanchard and Faithful.
Yeah.
So this is looking really, really interesting. We'll see what happens this week, and then of course you got Jake Julian at the punt.
Yeah.
And maybe they're going to do a carousel between punter and kicker with all 3 of these guys and pick their favorite boot. I don't know.
today was the last day for them to cut the roster, right? Pretty sure it was June 30th?
No, it's going to be the next day. It's June 1st.
30.
June 1st.
31st.
No,
Or June 1st? Okay, because that's Saturday.
May 31st or
Okay.
June 1st. It's June 1st. It's Saturday.
Oh,
so that's
it
why
is?
that's why everybody's
Wow.
playing on Friday.
I am a month behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Jeez.
that's why everybody's
Yeah.
playing on Fridays because
Yeah.
cut down data is on Saturday.
Yeah.
Look at Ray and Benny. Shout out Ray and Benny in the herd chat. Kind of wanted to see Ford against BC's almost starting the
Yes.
yeah, I know, man. And this is going to be a spot they're fighting for the third role at this point, QB3.
Well, and it's
Malik
just
Henry
it's
and-
just
and
that
Daggy.
now we're having two different fights here, you know.
Yeah.
QB3, I guess, fight, and who's going to stick around for the starter position of the kicker.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting couple of games coming up for sure.
Totally. Well, and speaking about Trey Ford.
Yeah, I mean, for the second half, it started good with the Trey Lowe rushing from an Elks touchdown. So we did see a touchdown there, and it was just not a kick to win game anymore. And we also had Trey Ford, who came in and completed 12 of 14 passes with 121 yards. He also led the rushing yards with 20 in 2 carries. So, is it in Trey we trust?
Nothing runs like a Ford. Nothing runs like Trey Ford.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he brought the running element to the run game, right? He woke it up a little bit, but that's also because you have two different quarterbacks from first half to second half.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, we were looking at that and we're like, is Trey better than MBT?
Well,
is this what it's looking like?
But it's once again, it's because he brings that scramble play that MBT is clearly not going to be pulling off. It's not his style.
He was throwing.
At all.
He wasn't running.
Yeah.
Right, and they are two very different types of quarterbacks, and I think they can complement each other very nicely if the coaches know how to call a play and they know when to put one or the other.
Yeah.
I think we could have a really good tandem between those two, really, when it comes to the games.
Well, exactly, and you can also have two quarterbacks on the field as well. So Trey, between Trey Ford and MBT, if you're Chris Jones, you're licking your chops, and Chris Jones can get creative.
We've seen it a couple of times. Yeah. Trey Ford also attempted a deep pass to rookie wideout Germanic Smith. Did I say that right? I did. Nice. Well, almost caught it for a touchdown. Unfortunately, the ball came loose as he landed in the end zone, resulting in an incompletion. That was a really cool one to see, though.
Yeah,
it was.
I thought he had it. I guess it came loose. The on-field officials said that it was not a completed catch. If there was video review, maybe we would have seen it a little bit better.
Yeah,
I didn't quite see it on the Jumbotron feed. Didn't see the replay too well, but
it was very impressive, though. It was very, very impressive.
Yeah, it was. And Ray and Benny, want to see a Trey Ford package. Like, I want to see a straight package, at least a dozen plays. So, I mean, that's kind of what they run out in Winnipeg is they have Strevler doing, some of those scramble and running plays.
Right.
And then you have Zach Klaus, who's your veteran pocket passer. Well, he can still run around as well. He can do a little bit of everything. I think he's more of a drop back? I don't know. I don't watch Klaus enough. Yeah. I watch our Elks a little bit more.
I don't care about Winnipeg.
Exactly.
Sorry, Ray and Benny.
We're not going to chirp too hard because our friends are in the herd chat here. Yeah, no, you liked what you saw out of Trey Ford in that window.
It was a very short window.
Yeah,
but we liked what we saw.
Because who came in?
The last quarter we had Daggy coming in.
Teach me how to Daggy.
What do you think based on what you saw of Daggy?
I thought Daggy looked good. I don't think he looked as good as Trey Ford.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting to watch him now play his half here in BC. Daggy, a lot of people have Daggy better than, not a lot of people. Some people have Daggy up there as one of our better quarterbacks on the team. I think very, very highly. I speak highly of Daggy. He also needs that opportunity to show it. We know how the Edmonton Elks were last year. you're playing in a failing scenario no matter what as a quarterback. So this year things are looking a lot better. So we'll see. I mean, I'm excited to see this half. This is going to be a full half of Daggy football.
I know.
And last year we saw him perform well with the Bees, right? In that Winnipeg game.
Yep.
He played well with the Bees. That was our only win for a very long time.
He played amazing in that game. So I am definitely excited to see what he brings, because once again, we didn't get to see much of him.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. But anyways, to finish the game, we had rookie kicker Blanchard. He had a chance to win the game for the Elks with a 57-yard field goal attempt, but the kick was narrowly missed. So it was narrow. He was there. For a second, I thought he had it, which would have been incredibly impressive. But earlier he had a field goal attempt for 49 yards that was good. So that in itself is impressive as well.
Yeah, he's got potential, and I think that's why we're going to see Faithful versus Blanchard this weekend. Well, tomorrow night. It's tomorrow night. That's why we're gonna see like a kicker's duel here. I'm so excited for it because
it's gonna be a good game.
We're gonna find out who the better boot is in a game scenario.
We're gonna find out who stays and who doesn't.
This is a dog game, right? There's guys fighting for their jobs, big time.
It's a diggy dog game.
Diggy dog.
Anyway, so overall, let's recap on this game. The Elks defense held the Roughriders to 191 yards of total offense. In contrast, Edmonton's offense and defense combined, they were combined for an impressive 411 yards, showcasing their dominance on both sides of the ball. They also showed strength in the run defense, only allowing the Roughriders to gain 71 rushing yards. So meaning that they were really forced to rely more on their passing game. So once again, I mean, it's in numbers, they should have won this. But obviously, despite the solid defensive performance, what was it? Those turnovers, which were 1 interception and 4 fumbles by the offense and special teams, that really resulted in a loss.
Ball security, 5 times. Just absolutely horrible with the hands on the ball. The bonus is that can all be corrected. So, kickoff returns and our punt returns.
Yeah.
Dropping the ball through the hands.
Yes.
Just,
I feel like a quarterback fumble and fumble punts should carry a little bit of extra shame in them.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of shame in that ball security department, right? But that being said, talking about the positives, Eugene Lewis, he was dubbed as player of the game by the Edmonton Elks. We would agree. He still got up and got those balls, right? He still did Geno Lewis things out there. He was fantastic. Gavin Cobb had himself a game. That's where he had really good chemistry, as others had mentioned. He fed Trey Ford to Gavin Cobb is almost automatic. It's very nice to see. So chemistry exists.
We have Teresa here. Should have fumble.
Need Velcro on the gloves. Yes, we agree. So. Shout out Teresa in the Herd chat.
Yeah, and even Chris Jones had something to say about this on the turnovers on special teams, and this is a quote. It wasn't just early on. We did one right there at the end of the game. It happened in both halves where you can't fumble. The decision making to the field the ball at 1 or the 2 yard line, that's inexcusable as well. So we've got to get 22, who's Javen Leak, schooled up that more and take good football to the field, because each one of those mistakes is essentially the difference in the ball game.
Damn.
So they know it.
Chris
it.
Jones, Javon Leak. I mean, we brought him in for that purpose. He shouldn't be a guy that's letting those things happen. Does make you wonder, like, is a Commonwealth Stadium staring down at you, like, just terrifying without any fans in the stands up there? Do we need to reopen the upper? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go there. I did see in the Herd chat, Darryl up here. Darryl. Shout out Darryl in the Herd chat. Long time no chat. If MBT and Ford show equal ability to read a defense and throwing ability, then you go to Trey because it gives you that extra running element.
Very much.
That's exactly what we're talking about with this, right? it's such a versatile situation.
It's like I say, it would be a really good tandem.
Yeah.
Right. If the coaches do what they need to do, and they're reading plays, and they're reading the other team, their defense and whatever, and they understand exactly who they need to play for their strengths, it could be a fantastic tandem.
Totally.
So
Nathan in the herd chat, shout out Nathan. Ball security 5 times. Sucka, you know it.
Yeah.
Can you dig it?
That's what we need to do. If we have a full crowd, upper bowl, and we have a lot more of those fumbles, then everybody just needs to start screaming ball security.
Yeah. There you go. That new
Shame him.
I'll work on that chant. I can't do it right now. I thought about it. It just does not work. Yeah. But if you guys do want to see a breakdown of the entire game with the highlight video, head over to highlight video.
Oh, sorry, that was me. I thought you put the CFL highlight video in the article.
Oh, I did not. No, not this time. But if you want to check out our breakdown, the fan-sided breakdown of the entire game, head on over to shotgunsportsnetwork.ca and check out our weekly articles, the articles formerly known as The Turnover. They're just weekly Elks articles now on shotgunsportsnetwork.ca. Transactions, Catherine?
There were none since the last time we talked. So, no, there was nothing there.
But that means that nobody got cut early.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's good. That's good.
I mean, apparently we still have another month that I thought we'd lost. So, I mean, we'll still see some movement before they have to have their final numbers.
No injuries either, right?
No injuries. There's nothing. So, I mean, that's one of those situations where no news is good news.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's pretty good. Elks key dates, May 31st, tomorrow night. Elks at BC Lions, 8 p.m. Mostly backups and guys fighting for a job. Mostly a team of Bs. Daggy's going to see some time. Malik Henry's going to see some time. BC Lions are playing mostly starters.
That's going to be good because then we see exactly what those, backups got.
It's a storyline game, right? It's got so many little storylines inside of it. The BC Lions playing their starters, getting ready for 50 Cent. Like I don't know what we're gonna do in this game. Elks 9, BC 21. They're getting ready for 50 Cent. Now, if the Elks backups, spearheaded by Daggy and Malik Henry, if they are able to pull this off, it's a very, very good sign for the Edmonton Elks going into the regular season. Let's be real.
Either way, I'm excited. It's going to be a good one.
I'm not here for the score in this game. I'm here for the storylines. I want to see what the boots are going to look like. There's so many things that you can look at. I like preseason. People that chirp preseason, I don't understand it because you're watching the team get built. You're looking at your, potential stars of the team for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody might have a breakout year just depending on what they're looking like in training camp and in preseason.
Very true.
So, look at Javon Leake right now. We don't know if he's going to be returning balls. You would assume, right? But what if they have to swap him out because he keeps dropping balls in Commonwealth Stadium? This is a storyline that started in preseason.
Very much so.
So very, very interesting.
We'll see where it takes us.
Okay, I guess. And then John in the herd chat here. Shout out to John. Upwards about the flyover.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Okay, and then alumni autographs 3 to 4. That's right. And then John here says, I don't think the upper deck is going to be open. It's potential round 4 matchup for the Edmonton Oilers away game. What I can tell you is that it's an away game. Obviously the Oilers have their watch party over there.
Right.
The Edmonton Elks are focused on the June 8th home opener. That's why Warren Moon will be coming. They haven't even publicly announced Warren Moon coming. I think we saw this information through an email. Actually, it was John. John, shout out to you, John, for actually sharing that and tagging us on X with that information. So shout out to you for providing to the show, John. You rock.
Yeah. But either way, I mean, I feel like it's a different crowd too. And if we can bring, a large amount of people coming into the Elks game and maybe just watch the Oilers game on your phone. Maybe.
Well, what's going to be cool is when all these people are in the watch party and all of a sudden the F-18s go
Yeah,
right
that's
through the
cool.
sky, and they're like, "Oh, is it for the Oilers? Nah, it's for the Elks, man." And then Top Gun, you know.
Don't matter.
Oh, it'd be so
Still
good.
win though.
Oh, so good.
right.
Alrighty, we have an Edmonton sports update. The Edmonton sports update. Today's update is brought to you by Herdy's. If someone asks, does Herdy's actually smoke the meats? We'll say, is a pig's picnic pork. Get ready for this milestone double E season with some melt in your mouth pork sliders stall number 182 on June 8th, 2024, exclusively in the Edmonton Elks tailgate party, 3 hours before the game. Herdy's, we smoke the meats. Your Edmonton Elks are in Vancouver to face the Pretty Kitties, the BC Lions, on Friday night in their last preseason game. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. The Edmonton Oilers are fighting for their playoff lives against the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Final. The Oilers visit Dallas on Friday night in Game 5 of the best-of-7 series, tied 2-2. In the CBL, the Edmonton Stingers just faced the Montreal Alliance tonight after defeating the Blackjacks in Ottawa. The Stingers won tonight and are 3-0 on the season so far. The Stingers start their first homestand tomorrow night at the Edmonton Expo Center. And our good friends at Edmonton Sports Talk have picked up some local live sports on their airwaves. Catch the Riverhawks and those Edmonton Stingers live on Edmonton Sports Talk starting this season. For more on the Edmonton sports scene, check out Len's sports articles on shotgunsportsnetwork.ca. We're the Elks Herd, and you're up to date. Then our affiliates, big shout out to you for supporting the network by clicking our affiliated links. We see you guys clicking those links, and we greatly appreciate it. We're a self-funded media company at Shotgun Sports Network, which means we are not owned by any sports books or any major companies. We started Shotgun from the ground up to support our fellow sports fans and even our favorite teams just 6 years ago. So we see you guys clicking the links. We thank you for purchasing through our affiliated links. Our affiliates are chosen by us because we believe in these brands. Also, quick correction. Thank you, John. June 2nd is that Edmonton Stingers game. The Expo. Got to get in on that. Go Stingers, go. But anyways, guys, getting back to our affiliates here. Royal Retros, Shotgun Sports, code Shotgun Sports, all caps, no spaces. We got a sweet Warren Moon inspired jersey here.
Somewhere. Sorry. Wasn't ready.
It's right here.
There it is.
Beautiful. Definitely, whoa, breaking news. Warren Moon is going to be in town.
Again.
Yeah, guys. I mean, you got to get this jersey. There's also a lot of other CFL jerseys there as well. There's also NFL, all sorts. Go check them out. Royal Retros. Some
really cool stuff.
They are the throwback kings. Throwback kings. Fanatics is another one of our affiliates here. Fanatics, you guys know them. The link is in the description. When you shop at Fanatics, shop through Shotgun. Then that way we get the hit. And then my favorite, Lather. Got to bring up Lather. It has been 3 months of not smelling like BO. I never did before, but we're on a streak with Lather now. We're on a streak, okay?
It's been good. It's been a good streak.
Yeah, all of their products, such as the soaps, beard oil, body butter, XYZ, 20% off. Use code ShotgunSports20. Smell damn good. Treat yourself. ShotgunSports20 over at latherwithouttheE.com.
Father's Day's coming up.
Father's Day's coming up.
Saying.
Football season, you're out there sweating in those seats. And then you go over to Royal Retros, 10% off. So
man.
You use the lather to protect yourself from the Royal Retros throwback jersey. Guys, it's beautiful. So once again, we really appreciate you guys for checking those up. Now we have one of the best parts of the show. It's the fan forum.
Actually, the second best part, because our guests are the best part.
I said one of the best parts. I said one of the best parts. No, our guests are always, that's why they're at the front. You got to get that in right away. But we always cap it off with the fan forum. So today's fan forum is brought to you by the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast, Americans Talking Canadian Football. Oz and Joe can now be seen on Shotgun Sports Network, bringing their audibles to your screens. Everyone's favorite point, white and blue. We're going to open up the fan forum. In this segment, we're going to talk about the hot topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks and the CFL as a whole. Guys, you know what to do. Blow up that herd chat so we can get your comments onto the show. Let's do it. Question number 1. The Edmonton Elks have done a soft launch of their tailgate party. And recently speaking with some fans, some folks are not happy about a few things that have changed. We've seen whole walking lanes blocked by giant groups of fans, a lack of space between vehicles turning the tailgate to the green space. It just seems a little bit more inviting as per some people that we've talked to, right? Herd chat, let us know, what is your thoughts if you were at the tailgate on Saturday? Let us know what your thoughts were. Kathy, what do you got?
I don't know. I feel like it was a little empty, so that's going to change. I think our view of the tailgate is really going to be an accurate one once we have our home games, our regular season home games. It was preseason. The weather was supposed to be really bad.
Yeah.
It said that it was going to rain. People weren't sure. So there could have been a few reasons why some people didn't show up. So I don't think we're really getting the full feel of what the tailgate could be just yet. That being said, my only recommendation for people that have a tailgate spot is to get there 3 to 2 hours before the game. Because seriously, there is no room in there for you to drive your car after the fact if everybody's already set up and they have their tents and there is literally no space for a car to go by there. So get there early. That's the only thing that I had to say. I think it looks more inviting for sure because it looks busier.
Yeah.
My only the one thing that I didn't like about the previous tailgate is how spread out it was. Right, it was just just a couple of really long lines.
Right.
And the traffic was right there, and it wasn't necessarily the most inviting. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still a little.
I like Teresa in the herd chat here, or get lost trying to get in for the first time. Who changed the map entrance? And I think what's interesting about this is they could have maybe did both sides and give everybody a warning on the first 2 games. Maybe try to do something a little bit, because that people are going to come in by the church side. Everybody comes in by the church.
They're used to that.
We all come in through the church, right? But
everybody's used to that.
But the thing is too is like there's not necessarily a ton of not everybody is going to be extremely invested in all of these emails that come out or any of the changes, right? It's change takes time, and there's people that have automatically signed on to get their tailgate spots on, probably not really being aware of the changes. And that's the reality. Now with that entrance, we had to dig for that. People assumed that you could still come in from the other side because then they were confused by the map.
I assume
multiple people were confused by the map.
I didn't know you couldn't.
No, you can't see exactly. You didn't even know that you couldn't.
Yeah.
They tell you where the new entrance is, right?
I mean, your Commonwealth, so I knew that we could get there properly.
Yeah.
But I assume you could still get in from the other side.
Oh,
Interesting.
There's lots of reasons why people are confused on this, right?
Yeah.
Now I would say, as far as trying to walk through that, when people are making giant groups together, it makes it hard. And I can understand why they want to make a giant group together. That's the whole point of being in the tailgater, is to be together, right?
Well, and especially with that kind of space, it's really easy to do that, right?
Yeah.
Because you're literally back to back with another vehicle that you could literally just open your tailgates and you're facing each other right there. So it's really easy to do that. And with some of the people that we saw on that green space, that they just turned the tailgate to the green space, it makes sense, 100%. We saw that in Toronto as well. it makes sense for people to do that, but it also closes that off, right? It doesn't make it feel really inviting when all you can see is just the front side of the vehicle and not really feel like you can go to the other side and talk to, those families that are over there. So, yeah, I don't know.
John here in the herd chat also makes a great point. They make giant groups. That's why some people think it's exclusive to a certain people. That's why a lot of people think I think won't go.
Yeah.
That's a very great opinion, John, and I agree to that. And that's the feedback that we got from some other fans in the tailgate party this year. Is wow, like it seems like now people are kind of segregating themselves a little bit more. And when you take a look at the premium stalls, one person backed their vehicle with their vehicle backed out to the green space,
right,
not into the party. So now this is all exclusive party back here in the premium stalls, and now you're defeating the whole purpose of the tailgate.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really, really interesting, extremely interesting. We'll see what happens with it. I would say there's a lot of positives for where we're at what stall 182.
Yeah.
We have a fantastic view. We always go there early, so we're going to be fighting the traffic more times than not this year. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
We'll be get there before the traffic.
Yeah.
But come on down to stall 182. We're always going to welcome you in. We
have herdies. We have the meats.
Herdies. We smoke the meats. We always have some food for you if you want to swing down. Speaker's Corner will be back as of June 8th. So we're going to be setting up Speaker's Corner. You got to be there. You got to get those pictures.
Well, and that being said, we also didn't see a lot of the activations that the Elks like to call them that are coming on in June 8th, right? So a lot of the booths, the stage, Spirit of Edmonton, all of those were not there that specific tailgate, and that sometimes is what brings the party in, right? When when you hear the music and when you see some of these booths and you start walking around. So I definitely do think that we haven't seen its potential yet. We saw a lot of segregation. We saw some things that we didn't like, perhaps, but maybe once they realize that this is kind of like a party spot, why not make it another, what do they call it? Ice district with the watch parties.
But yeah, do up an actual fan park or something. Yeah, I mean,
right. That's what it's supposed to be, right?
But yeah, I mean, in this football and tailgating, it's supposed to be something special, right? It's supposed to be something where you're supposed to like party down with your neighbor, which we all kind of do. But at the same time, it's also for people walking in, because in America, more times than not, when you walk into a tailgater, the first person that sees you says, "Hey, are you hungry?"
Yeah.
And they'll point at you and say, "Hey, get food over here."
Yeah.
The Turf District is doing a great job of that. Shout out to the Turf District, because we have slightly modeled really what we do a little bit off of what the Turf District. They're the OGs of the tailgate. But at the same time, we have herdies. We do something different. So we do the same thing. We know of some other tailgaters that have recently come in this year that are also looking to do the same thing. They want to just provide food and talk with random fans and build up that community a little bit more. It's supposed to be a community. So when we see the vehicles turn the other way, they're not partying. And by the way, that's the biggest lane, is the entry lane.
Yeah.
That's the biggest lane. That's where vehicles should be turned around and tailgating into the foot space, right?
Yeah.
The foot space is going to be extremely tight. I'm going to predict right now, with all the tents all set up, you're going to have less than the width of this couch to walk through. So what happens when there's, you have shoulder to shoulder, you're going to see shoulder to shoulder, 2 lanes going back and forth through these aisles. So, for people to stand there now and start talking, now you're clogging up the lane.
Yeah.
So, you've lost a lot of space. And I think in losing that space, it's going to present some challenges, like we saw with people building groups and everything else. People swinging in, especially swinging by our stall. We're trying to get people to do photo booth style pictures or videos, just like the original Speaker's Corner. we can't have that now into the lane at all. We're going to have to make sure it's directly under our tent, and we're going to have to make some modifications as well. So, and that's no big deal. I mean, that's minor in comparison to maybe some other people's setups that could be a little bit bigger and that go out into the lane a little bit more. So we'll see. I mean, for a dry run, I think it was all right. I think it could have been, shout out to Blaine, by the way, if you're listening, but, owner of Dry Run, but, if, we'll see what happens with this tailgater on June 8th, because that it's going to be packed. You're going to have all the diehards there. You're going to have all your tailgaters there. And even with that alumni signing, that will be an hour, 2 hours before the game. It's 2 hours before the game. We're going to be showing up pretty darn early, I think, on that day.
Yeah, most likely. And you guys know us. We'll do our best to make sure that people know that they can just walk around, that they're welcome to come visit us, to walk around. I'm pretty sure we have a whole bunch of tents beside us that are going to have, like goodies and all of that.
Yeah, we're by the partner stalls. So the partner stalls will all be in our area as well. It'll be we got a good area over there, and of course turf district. There's everybody.
If you walk around a little space that is just all crowded and they won't let you in, we'll just go around them and come see us.
Yeah. Simply put, walk through some cars if you got to. But don't walk on them because that's illegal. I mean, John, here in the herd chat, do you think people will walk from the other side of the stadium LRT just to go to the tailgate, or do you think they need something on that side? I expect the Coors Light, formerly known as the Coors Light Fan Fest, but the Edmonton Elks Fan Fest, I expect that to be back. We haven't been able to write our fan article yet, our fan guide, because we haven't seen everything around the stadium yet.
We don't know what's happening yet, so we'll see. I mean, hopefully the the Edmonton Elks themselves are trying to make tailgate a bigger thing this year, right? They really they're spending effort, they're spending time into making the tailgate a thing more than it already was.
Yeah.
So it's on their best interest to have some signs or something. Like just put a sign, tailgate this way.
Yeah, direct traffic to the tailgate.
Go over there, like directly from the LRT. Just have a big sign board that says tailgate that way.
So John with the assist in the herd chat, they do have the fan guide on June 8th. I did see that they put up theirs. We write ours from a fan-sided perspective. So, I mean, technically speaking, we can go off of that, but this is a brand new setup for the Edmonton Elks. They have not actually done this fan park idea yet. They have never really performed this yet.
Yeah.
So we will actually have to do a quick walk around just to see what's out there. Because we have to give them a fan-sided perspective. We could take the organization's word, which we always do. But we do also like to throw a fan-sided spin on it. As a fan, what do you want to see? What do you want to do? We really recommend this XYZ, right? And we're gonna have the little herd that day too. So the family zone is right there.
Yeah,
maybe they want to run in for that.
Things have changed.
Things have changed a lot. Oh yeah,
transportation.
Yeah,
and how to get there. So, fan-sided fan guide will definitely be coming up. Thanks to Scout. Next
Thanks to Shotgun Sports. Okay, so question number 2, guys. This is about 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
As we've all seen, 50 Cent will be at the home opener for the BC Lions, playing a halftime show in 1 week. 1 week at BC Place. So the Eskimos, just over a week anyways. The Eskimos have hosted many halftime shows such as Busta Rhymes and Ludacris, as well as the Elks bringing in Hanson a couple years ago. I was there for that one as well. Fresh out of COVID.
Yeah.
So why is the 50 Cent appearance so much more successful right now for the BC Lions? And does this give you hope for the Edmonton Elks under private ownership? Because Amar Doman.
I don't know. Can we afford Ludacris now? I feel like we could. But anyway.
The Ludacris is going to be here for K-Days. Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like, with the current state of the organization and how much money they have lost, it's really hard to think of those kind of scenarios. right? I feel like there are way better places that they could put their money towards rather than paying some A or B lister to sing a little bit at a halftime show, you know? Like maybe if we make it to the playoffs, 100%. If we make it to the Grey Cup, even better. But that's not our problem this year, right? But yeah, I feel like this is just BC showing off a little bit, maybe.
No. So we also have to remember too, with all this Diddy stuff and 50 Cent chirping all the time,
we need Drake.
You would pack Commonwealth Stadium.
We can't afford Drake.
There's no way. But if you have a private owner that cares enough about the team,
yeah,
you might get a Drake. You just might.
You know what? And that is a really good point, Teresa. Big names attract crowds.
Yeah, Teresa in the Herd, yeah.
I guess I didn't see it that way. You know, if we have somebody that is really good coming in, then people will definitely pay to see that specific person. Maybe, I mean, we saw that for Hansen, 100%. We had people that bought tickets just to see Hansen and they didn't really care about the game. So, I mean,
Kyle, our friend, shout out to Kyle, who went just for the return of live entertainment. It was Hansen at the Elks game, and we were bopping for the rest of the night. It was fantastic. Oh, there you go. So, John in the Herd chat here, 50 Cent will be doing 30 minutes before the game. LL Cool J was last year in BC Place. Well, 50 Cent is arguably much bigger than LL Cool J. The ladies used to love Cool James, okay? Fitty, even then, Fitty is technically way past his prime. But he's had an uptick in presence in social media lately because of this Diddy stuff, and he has amazing tunes, and you know that you're going to rock it. Now, 50 Cent might not have been this big as a grab 5 years ago. Maybe 10, maybe 5 years ago, it might not have been as big. It's super huge right now. So it was fantastic timing. BC has a great owner. This is the example of having an owner that loves the team so much that they're willing to risk that money. No risk, no reward.
That's true,
right? He raised. I saw a good quote tweets out there. Quote post, I guess you'd call it now, but yeah, I forget exactly what it was, but it was along those lines. So he's done fantastic out there in BC, and yeah, Amar Doman, props to him for making it happen.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to say. You know what? I was just gonna say this, John, for the Elks Country Night. Let's get Brent Kissel for half.
No, we need to win that game, man.
If there was going to be somebody, it's probably going to be some country singer, because we know that country singers bring in the crowds.
I could see them. I think they'll more than likely pull somebody for that game.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows, right? We don't know what the Elks have planned for the year. As far as concerts. Now, I'm gonna say one of the biggest rock stars you could get in this town, Warren Moon, number one. Don't make me hit the breaking news. We're breaking on in here for the third time tonight.
Yeah. If there's anybody that you should go see, is definitely Warren Moon. And if there's anybody that you should win a game for,
Tom Wilkinson is gonna be signing autographs.
Hector Potier.
Yeah, you're close. Yeah, no. Yeah, HP 63 will be there. We saw Sean Fleming. The Michael Riley. I so got to get a picture with him.
He's gonna cry.
I miss him so much. But hey, it's MBT season now.
Very true.
It's the MBT to Ford connection. We got a very exciting season. This preseason game coming up is going to be amazing. But before we close up the show, we got to close up the fan forum. Warren Moon, who good one there in the Herd chat, John. We're going to close up this fan forum. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating in tonight's fan forum. That was a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun one. Now we got to shut down the show. This was fantastic spending this time with you guys tonight. Thank you so much. This is all the time we have for today. We'd like to thank Ryan, Jason, Darryl for joining us on the show tonight. Awesome time talking youth football, and of course the 24-hour Flag-a-thon. The links, once again, will be in the description. If you want to help out, donate, sponsor, or register a team, you can do all that through there. Once again, it's helping the Stollery. So just a fantastic thing that they're doing, a fantastic event that they're doing there. Guys, we got to thank you, the viewer, the watcher, the listener. Today was fantastic. No matter where you're watching us today from, whether it be on YouTube, on Shotgun Sports Network, or on X, or on Facebook at the Elks Herd, or if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or on your favorite podcatcher. Once again, my name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Do Even Elks.
We are the Elks Herd. This was the Elks Call, and we're going to see everybody on the next episode. Cheers, everyone. Go
Have a
Elks.
good night.